evening again. Yeah, Jelle has not got a great record against Gary Anderson, so unsurprisingly, Gary a very hot favourite for this.
Yeah, he starts a clear favourite against Jelle tonight. Jelle's had a mixed few years, had problems with his wrist, but it's an opponent that suits Gary Anderson really. He plays at a good pace, plays to Gary Anderson's strengths, and like Jackie said then, Jelle hasn't got a great record against Gary, and he'll be conscious of that, so I feel the early part of the game is really important for Klaasen.
Well, there's Gary, lives just down the road from here at Burnham-on-Sea. 49 years old now. Partner Rachel here cheering him on. Jelle Klaasen, BDO World Champion back in 2006. 35 years old now. Looked good yesterday, earlier on rather, beating Steve West, and he can really play at a rate, Jelle Klaasen, and sometimes has some interesting ways of putting the numbers together.
Yeah, he does. Like I said, he's had his issues the last year or so, but he was good at the World Championships. He beat Kevin Burness in the first round, and then he had the throw to go 2-0 up on Michael van Gerwen, and 58. Michael just did his thing and defeated Jelle in the end, but it was a good performance from Jelle at the World Championship.
That was Rachel, who we saw briefly. Gary's partner. Loves his dogs, Gary Anderson, as well. He was telling me that he lost. Oh, great darts. Lost one of his beloved Bernese mountain dogs recently.
Yeah, he's 43. Feels like his pets. I think he's got a bulldog as well, hasn't he? So
he has. He's got 3 now.
140.
Let's compare notes on our canines. Anderson straight away on for a break of throw here. And gets it. 13 dart leg to start. Pretty handy. 14-6 he leads in previous career meetings, and as Jackie was telling you, Gary's won on the last 10 occasions that they've met. So those of you who've got an investment on Jelle Klaasen at 9-4, well, I admire your optimism. I'm not sure I like the form line.
No, not the start you want. When you're playing against a player that you haven't beaten in a long time, you don't want to drop your throw in the first leg, but it was a good 13 dart break from Gary Anderson, but stand by that his early parts, very important for Jelle Klaasen. He's got to stay in touch. They have actually played on this stage before in the Players' Championship in 2013. Gary Anderson ran out 9-5 winner then, so
one thing you can guarantee is that this game's going to really rattle along. It'll not take long. Anderson moving into a powerful position again in this second leg. 4-4 when he returns.
140.
And this for back-to-back 13 darters.
Double 2. It's a little bit awkward now. Moves awkward, so Jelle Klaasen from nowhere gets an opportunity to break straight back.
And gets the treble he was looking for. Beautifully done. Well, didn't see that one coming. Anderson, of course, big favourite with the crowd.
177.
Great darts.
Those last 6 darts will settle Jelle Klaasen down.
60.
Finishes the 77 and starts with a 177. He's
60.
Picking up the pace. I know we're only 3 legs in, but he was a bit slower in that opening leg, but going a lot quicker.
Gary, as ever, with a few aches and pains and painkillers of one sort or another to get him ship-shape to get up there on stage.
Yeah, I still think there's a few little issues with his back that crop up now and then, but seen an okay start here, Gary Anderson. Mixed form in the Premier League, but he's won on the Pro Tour.
58.
Had a good run in the Masters as well, losing out to Peter Wright in the semi-final, and he seems really determined to get his form back this year. Obviously, he didn't play a lot of games last year, and he's playing all the tour events.
He won the first Players' Championship of the season, didn't he? Players' Championship 1.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, we started
out of the blocks flying.
Defeating Jeff Smith in the final.
Klaasen 64 was required.
44.
Now Gary Anderson for another break of throw. This for 170.
We talked about the issues Jelle Klaasen's had here. Surgery on his wrist after his Premier League campaign in 2017. Had to adapt his throw, and he's just only really getting used to that now. But you know, after that World Championship and a good run here so far, there's signs that better days ahead for Jelle Klaasen.
A lot of people sort of looked at Jelle Klaasen when he came bursting through as a youngster all those years ago and thought, here's a big star of the future, but some way it's never quite happened.
No, and you know, he won the World Championship at such a young age. It carries a lot of pressure and expectancy, and yeah, he's dipped in and out of form, but he's had some good runs. He got to the semi-final of the World Championship in 2016 when he actually lost out to Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson steamrolled him 6-0. I think there was a 9-darter in there as well. But that's a mixed form in the PDC over the last few years, but definitely got the ability.
Second maximum of the match for Gary Anderson, who insists that he just wants to get back to throwing darts as he really knows he can, and he doesn't believe he's done himself justice for a little while now.
97.
He definitely underperformed in the Premier League and Exeter on Thursday, becoming the first player to lose to a challenger. It was out to Luke Humphries. He performed pretty well against Steve Beaton last night, and he did enough against Simon Stevenson earlier on this afternoon.
Anderson just checking to see if that's in, and it's not. His distance vision is not the greatest, hence the bins.
82.
Klaasen 170 for a break of throw.
Yeah, that miss into the treble 4 proved a bit of a blessing for Gary Anderson. Had he hit the treble 18, he'd have left 7-7, or the 18 he may have gone for the ball, and he's been able just to set up the shot, but he's got to finish.
30.
Another opportunity for Jelle.
127.
127. Just looking for treble 19 for a bullseye then. Good setup.
Anderson now already he's missed.
1 out of 10. 9 missed doubles.
Yeah, and that's he's been punished yet again by Jelle Klaasen. And that's what cost Gary Anderson against Luke Humphries the other night.
Well, he's under pressure, and that's a great start to leg number 5 for Jelle Klaasen, with his first maximum of the match break at the end of this leg. Jelle would love to walk off 4-1 up. That's unlucky.
Yeah, in particular after dropping the first leg on his darts. He's punished all the Gary Anderson mistakes since start this leg with the match, so
130.
you see that bounce out Gary Anderson back in the leg.
51.
Loose one with the last dart. Advantage Anderson. Get it back on to throw if he can break before this interval. That's a bit of a blocker. He's trying to work an angle to find his 65. Way in, and in the end elects to go for the bullseye.
140.
That's okay from Jelle. He'll be expecting to have a go at the 90, and he will do. He should get at least 1 dart at the bullseye minimum.
58.
Well, this is for 4-1. Bullseye gets the 25, and then the 15 for bull.
49
on the last dart.
112.
Big shot for Gary Anderson coming up. Treble 20 for double 16. Gets the treble 16. Double 16.
80.
Well, could be costly. 41. For 4-1, 41 needed, double tops.
21.
Overcompensated.
32.
Can't be affording to miss opportunities like that. Jelle Klaasen, Gary Anderson in the end gets his way home. He's not happy with the way things are panning out up there, whether or not he's in discomfort or whether he's just hacked off with his darts, I'm not too sure. But they leave the stage. That was actually a break of throw for Anderson, and it's now Klaasen 3, Anderson 2, and back on darts.